So here you can see the suboccipital region. Okay, so we have already removed the skin. Now what you are seeing is the roof forming the muscle. Okay, first what you are seeing, this is the trapezius. You have already seen this muscle in the upper limb classes, so we will reflect the trapezius. Okay, so if you remove the, or if you reflect the trapezius, now you can see the second layer muscle which forms the roof of the suboccipital triangle. So in the medially you can see the semispinalis capitis, and the laterally you can see the splenius capitis, and the even more lateral you can see the longissimus capitis. Okay, we are going to reflect layer by layer. If you reflect the semispinalis capitis, you can see the nice triangular structure, triangle, that is the suboccipital triangle. Okay, it is a paired triangle. What you are seeing, it is the right side suboccipital triangle. Now what are the structure which, what are the muscle which forms the boundaries of the suboccipital triangle? So below you can see one muscle, that is the obliquus capitis inferior. Can you see another muscle over here? That is the obliquus capitis superior. Medially it is formed by the rectus capitis posterior major. Minor is not there in the specimen. If it was there, it would have been placed medial to the rectus capitis posterior major. So this is your suboccipital triangle. Okay, so we have finished the roof forming the structure and the boundaries. Now the floor of the suboccipital triangle. Okay, so here you can see that is the posterior arch of atlas, and above that you can see one white glistening membrane, that is the posterior atlanto-occipital membrane. Okay, now that these two structure which forms the floor of the suboccipital triangle. Now the contents of the suboccipital triangle, if you see, can you see here, see just above the posterior arch you can see one structure, that is the third part of vertebral artery. Okay, third part of vertebral artery. And also you can see, can you see one white color structure glistening? So that is the dorsal ramus of C1, first cervical nerve. Okay, which is going to supply the obliquus capitis inferior. See, as I already told you, this dorsal ramus which emerges out between the third part of vertebral artery and the posterior arch of atlas. So that is important. Okay, so then you can see the venous plexus. We have already removed all that. See, some part of the venous plexus also you can see. This is the suboccipital venous plexus. Okay, so that completes the suboccipital triangle boundaries and the contents. Okay, now in addition to this, can you see one thick nerve over here? So which crosses the roof of the suboccipital triangle at the inferolateral position, sorry, inferomedially. So that is your, see, along the inferior border of the obliquus capitis inferior, you can see one nerve, that is the thickest cutaneous nerve in the body, that is the greater occipital nerve. Okay, greater occipital nerve. The root value is C2. Okay, greater occipital nerve. So that completes your suboccipital triangle. Remember, so this is your trapezius, okay, semispinalis capitis, and then the splenius capitis and the longissimus capitis. If you reflect that, you can see the, you have already exposed the suboccipital triangle. The boundary forming the suboccipital triangle, see, inferiorly by the obliquus capitis inferior, superolaterally by the obliquus capitis superior, and superomedially by the rectus capitis posterior major, and here comes the minor. And floor is formed by the posterior arch of atlas, above that, and the posterior atlanto-occipital membrane. Okay, now the contents, the third part of vertebral artery, and also you can see the dorsal ramus of C1. Okay, dorsal ramus of C1 and suboccipital venous plexus. In the roof you can see the greater occipital nerve.